Oregon has Minnesota coming to town. I believe they come into town today. They play their game tomorrow.
Yeah, 6 o'clock.
Where will you be for the game?
I will be at home for the game.
Well,
the game kicks off, but I'll be down there for the pregame show.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be down there in Eugene tomorrow.
What time?
2 to 4.
2 to 4.
Right in front of PK Park, baby.
There you go.
Come say what's up. Just me and Dusty, because Anthony's got a high school game, so he's going to be up here in the studio.
Yeah, so Minnesota coming to town. It's not the most exciting, sexy matchup in the world, but the Gophers have a good record. They have a nice little season. They can't win on the road. They're more of a home win team. But PJ Fleck did his press conference this week, and we haven't played any of his audio. Enjoyed interviewing him last week. Last year. We couldn't make the interview work with his schedule this week. But PJ Fleck coming to Eugene on the margin of error Minnesota has against this Ducks defense.
When we do the small things really well, and we have attention to detail within the fundamentals, and we plug it into the scheme, and then we can do it under the pressure of the situation, we play really well. When we don't do that, we don't play well. So we've got to continue to get more consistent as the year goes on, and Oregon presents a lot of challenges, whether it's the front seven or the back end. I mean, they're deep at every position. They're good at every position. I mean, really, really good. They don't have many flaws, that's for sure.
He also talked about Dante Moore, who he's very high on coming into the matchup.
I mean, he's one of the most dynamic players in all of college football. I think that's pretty easy to tell, well documented. He's very, very poised. I mean, you saw that on the last drive against Iowa. Leads his team down to what they needed to do to win the game with the field goal. I mean, but he's truly incredibly poised. You could tell that the team really responds well to him. As you could tell, he's the leader of the offense. No situation too big for him, whether it's with his legs or his arm. He's just dynamic. He really is. Really, really accurate passer, but understands pocket awareness. Moves really well in the pocket. Good arm angles. Very accurate passer. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country for a reason.
I find PJ Fleck interesting in this sense. He's had a nice run at Minnesota. He's been there for a long time. There were reports he was kind of eyeing other places 2 seasons ago, but he's stuck around.
Yeah.
And again, they're one of those teams that, I don't think you fear Minnesota.
No.
When they play them at Minnesota, they're more live to win the game.
Yeah,
they are on the road.
To your point this year, they're 6-0 at home and they're 0-3 on the road.
Like if they play Nebraska at Nebraska instead of Nebraska coming to Minnesota, they're probably going to lose that game, right? Yeah. So I understand what the limitations and what the reality of Minnesota are. I also find any kind of I don't think we know what kind of caliber these kinds of coaches are. I'm not saying PJ Fleck is what Dan Lanning is if he's at an Oregon.
Sure.
Remember, his name was floated years ago.
He was. Yes, he was.
But I do find having a firm opinion of this coach is only this good. I find that interesting. I don't know if it's true. Maybe he's Minnesota good and he's not Miami good. But I also don't know that for a fact because he's only been at a couple places. So PJ Fleck coming to town, I don't think he elicits any fear for people. But he's had a nice run at Minnesota.
Yeah, I got a ton of respect for PJ Fleck. I in terms of is he good enough to do it at a big-time program with better resources, I don't know. Nobody will, unless he takes a job like that, we'll never know the answer to it. And maybe we'll find out with some of these hires that take place at a place like Penn State or LSU or Auburn or Florida, depending on who they get, because guys like PJ Fleck or Matt Campbell, I feel like a lot of these coaches are in the running for jobs like that, and then you'll get a look at what do they do with better resources. Like Mike Riley was this forever at Oregon State.
I was going to say,
he's doing a really good job.
Minnesota Riley,
good culture.
Is he great?
Develops guys. Yeah. And the thought was, man, if you ever just got him in a spot where he had better resources, the tough part for Riley was, I think, by the time he got to Nebraska,
he waited too long.
His career was winding down, and PJ Fleck is not that. He's a younger guy, but when you look at what he's done at Minnesota, I mean, he's been there. We mentioned this earlier in the week. He's the second longest tenured coach in the Big Ten behind Kirk Ferentz after James Franklin got fired. Mm-hmm. He's essentially, outside of his first year and then the COVID year, which he just scratched because it doesn't count, he's been to a bowl game every year, and he's 6-0 in bowl games. He's won 9 games. He won 11 games in 2019. He won 8 games last year. He's on pace. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Oregon tomorrow night, but even if they lose that game, the rest of their schedule is Northwestern and Wisconsin, and they're 6-3. So if you lose tomorrow, you're 6-4. You got a chance to win 8 games again. Both those games are very winnable for them. So he has established a floor that I feel like is relatively high compared to what Minnesota football has been for the majority of my life. We mock the culture stuff, but it has clearly worked out for him, and he's going the route of a freshman quarterback this year. I think this guy, when you look at the road games that they've lost to elite teams, the last game that they played, I shouldn't say last game, but 2 games before was at Iowa. And they lost 41-3, and the freshman quarterback just had a hell of a time. He couldn't do anything.
When they go on the road against the better
elite
or
teams,
elite,
it's not good.
just not close.
But I think he's also saying, hey, man, we got enough baseline talent to win 7-8 games this year.
He's a bowl team already.
I'm going to develop a freshman quarterback on top of it. And so I think he's playing both that's a good year for us at Minnesota to win 7 or 8 games. And if I can get this guy to get better each year and keep him around, maybe it elevates us a little bit. Like Minnesota will never be a perennial contender in the Big Ten. That just will not happen.
I don't think they'll ever be a contender in the Big Ten, if we're being honest. I think they're tap out at an 8 or 9 win season at their maximum capacity.
And maybe you have a year where all of your seniors, you have this great class, and they all stay together, and they all come back for one more year, and maybe you make a run. That's the peak of Minnesota football. And so I think every place has different expectations. But to the question of, would he win national championships if you made him the coach at Florida? That's the fun thing about coaching. We'll never know unless he takes a job like that.
Well, the other funny part is you only have 3 current head coaches that have won national championships.
Yeah, it's Dabo, Kirby, and Ryan Day.
Yeah. So as great as whoever, Marcus Freeman or Dan Lanning or Lincoln Riley,
Kalen
DeBoer, they haven't won national championships, and they're at those resource hubs. So that, I think that's always going a little far because of how difficult the sport. I think it's more difficult to win in that sport now than maybe it ever has, given everything that's transpired with the NIL, the portal, all that. But he is a lot like, to me, and Matt Campbell has had more success, obviously, where he's at. He's like Matt Campbell. Like Josh Pate thinks Matt Campbell would be a home run hire for Penn State. And maybe he's right, but I'm glad you brought his name because I was going to bring it up. There is a Mike Riley-esque element to it of, even at his peak at Oregon State, I don't know if Mike Riley at a USC is having the ultimate success.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's just you're kind of perfect for where you're at.
You're a good coach in that regard. You find diamonds in the rough, you develop them, you win the games you're supposed to, pull off an upset every now and then. But there's ultimately a ceiling on what you can do, but that's okay.
But if PJ Fleck went to Auburn, are you trembling? Are you like, oh, this could get elevated? Or are you kind of just puzzled and stumped and have no clue?
I don't think I would have I would just be very curious to see how it would work out. If I were an SEC fan, I don't know if I would have either emotion, like, oh, he's not going to do squat, or, oh, God, here comes PJ Fleck. I think it would be more so of like, all right, he's a respected head coach.
Yes.
We've also seen Auburn make that hire, and does the culture fit? There's just other things that go into it. Like Brian Harsin was a well-thought-of coach when they brought him down there.
But Fleck's at least at a Big Ten school.
He's at a Big Ten school, not at Boise State. It's totally fair.
Would Fleck be better than Hugh Freeze?
I would tend to think so, yeah, because Hugh Freeze plays 90% of his time he's on the golf course, and, the background of what he did when he was at Ole Miss wasn't great either. So, I would give him a benefit of the doubt there. I'll use another local guy, not to just keep bringing up your coaches, but Jonathan Smith was this. Look at Jonathan Smith. Look, he got Oregon State to a spot where they're winning 10 games and they're in the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah.
How about that? He's been a disaster at Michigan State.
He only has 3 wins at Michigan State now.
He just had a bunch of wins vacated yesterday.
They wiped him off.
No,
that's not fair to him.
No, it was not fair to him.
Talk about how stupid that is, by the way.
That's in my notes to get to today because it's hilarious.
Because he's 3-13 now at Michigan State because of that.
And everybody at Michigan State saying, "Wait a minute, our in-state rival just cheated to win a national title 2 years ago, and not a single thing has been vacated, but we just had a bunch of wins vacated." Like, wait, what?
Yeah, could you explain that one to me?
No, I can't. Nothing makes sense, and it just makes more of a mockery of the entire system. But to the exact point, I don't think Michigan State is the same level of job as Auburn, Florida, or Penn State. It's a very good job, but he clearly has been a disaster there.
But some of that is fit, right? So, would Jonathan be better at UCLA? He's from Pasadena. He's a Pac-12 guy. He's West Coast. That fit never made sense to people. I gave him a benefit because he did amazing at Oregon State, in my opinion.
He did. He did an unbelievable job.
Obviously, that's not going to work. And why do I say that? Well, his record, one, he's not having any success. They haven't won a Big Ten game. And, oh, by the way, the report came out yesterday. They're eyeing Brian Kelly. They might be wanting to bring back Brian Kelly to the old Midwest. Where did he have success?
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So he knows the region. He's Cincinnati. He is familiar with that region. If they buy out Jonathan Smith and fire that guy, they might go get Brian Kelly, which I kind of can't blame him. Maybe it makes sense, but
if I were them, I'd rather have James Franklin than Brian Kelly.
I just think it's fine. Look, I think Oregon, I have something else on this game that I don't know if you've really considered, and I don't know if Duck fans have really considered in general, but he's an interesting coach because, one, he's a fun interview, but two, He's had a good run at Minnesota. It's like just because he hasn't won 10-plus games.
Sure, which he has. He has a season with 11 wins at Minnesota. He's got one of them, but, not a lot, but one of them.
Touche, I forgot about that season.
Yeah, they won 11 games in 2019, and he's had multiple 9-win seasons and an 8-win season last year.
I'd have to go look at the history if he's the most successful. Is he either Signetti? He just hasn't been at the Signetti level.
The last guy at Minnesota, who was it? He used to have strokes on the sideline.
Jerry
Kill.
Jerry Kill. I don't remember him winning 11 games.
I don't know. Didn't they won national titles in like the 40s or 50s?
Minnesota fans online are doing that to Oregon of like, hey, we got titles and you don't. It's just, buddy,
well,
settle down.
Don't you guys claim the tall furs?
No, I've never bragged about that in my entire life in a serious tone.
Okay.
That's never been.
Good to know.
Do we even have a banner up in our gym for that title? Is there a banner?
I believe there is.
We do have a banner up for that gym.
Technically, you got to put a banner up.
Any national championship won before 1960 does not count.
It was the very first NCAA championship.
Yes, it was.
For Oregon, yeah. But to your point on Minnesota,
that was the first NCAA
tournament,
basketball tournament.
Yeah, that doesn't count. We didn't.